Can't say I watch many Flyers games. Oh, God, yeah.
I think better get into the business.
Really hard for a goalie to make.
Thank you. Thank you.
What are your thoughts?
Is able to re-sign Rantanen.
Below the Flames in a wildcard race.
Welcome to the Dumb and Jays podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Robillard, with you as always. Today we have a special guest in Shamar Moses, a top NHL Draft prospect. If you guys enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. If you are on YouTube, if you are on Spotify, or anywhere you find your podcasts, please give us a follow and a 5-star rating. If you do enjoy, we greatly appreciate it. It helps us reach more and more people. And that is all I have for you for this little quick introduction. We will get right into the interview with Shamar Moses, and hope you guys enjoy. All right, just to kick off, can you just take me through your time with the Don Mill Flyers and just kind of how you got to where you are now and just how everything started for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously starting out with Don Mills quite a few years ago. That's where kind of everything started for me. And originally was playing on the Scarborough Ice Raiders team, which turned into Don Mills the year after that. So, kind of made that transition, and then grew up playing a D-man my first 5 years at Don Mills, and that was kind of where I played my whole life. And then coming up to COVID, I switched to forward for the last 2 years. So, that was a big transition for me, and kind of changed my career around almost. And leading up to that, going into minor midget, I was had made a lot of progress, obviously, from where I started. I always wasn't the top guy. So, by the time it came around for minor midget, I was up there, and then had a pretty good year there at Don Mills, and got to get drafted to Barrie, which was sweet. And then in the first round, and that was always a memory I'll remember forever with my family and friends. And to move on now here to North Bay a year later, and so happy here, and I just think everything happens for a reason, and I've been super happy here for sure.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, because I know you were a defenseman at one point. What were kind of the biggest adjustments for you going from a D-man to a forward?
Yeah, I think just the little things, like just where the positioning wise, and where you are on the wall as a winger, and getting in on the forecheck, just where you are in the offensive zone, just like stuff you're not really used to. You're usually back there, and me, I was a bigger defenseman who was kind of more shutdown style, so to go to a forward was a pretty big transition, but I picked up on it pretty quick, and made something pretty good out of it.
Since you mentioned it as well, the trade and stuff, can you just talk about like what it was like being traded from Barrie to the North Bay, and just kind of, was it like a surprise for you, and just kind of how did you transition?
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. I mean, it was a pretty crazy story all around. I mean, first hearing that I got traded was a huge surprise to me. So I was actually sleeping, and then I heard my iPhone start beeping, and I checked my phone, and it's 10 missed calls from my agent, 10 missed calls from my mom. So figured something was going on, and then got the phone call, and then they kind of told me there, and then right away talked to all the staff in North Bay, and they just made me feel so welcome from the second the phone call started, and I just was so excited to get there and get started. And then the next morning I drove up, and I was going to meet the boys for the road trip to go down to Erie. And on the way up, I got my tire popped and then got pulled over. So it was like a whole lot going on, and then had to call the president, Adam Dennis, and he came to my assistance, and my billets, who I had never met yet. They came and picked my car up, and that just kind of shows the culture in North Bay, and how tight knit and family oriented it is. And wait on the side of the road with my president for the boys to pick me up, and so that was pretty crazy. Get on the bus for the first time, and see all the boys, and I hadn't really met anyone yet. So that was a pretty crazy story, and something I'll never forget for sure.
Yeah. During your time between Barrie and North Bay, who's helped in your development the most? And how's your development really been between the two teams, like training and coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's just like a whole family of people. Like I don't really have anyone who I rely on too much. I think just the coaches who have, my minor midget coach, I think kind of stands out to me, because just the kind of the trust he put in me and the confidence he instilled in me. And even from transitioning to forward, it wasn't really his decision. The coach before him made it. So he wanted me to be a D-man, but he supported me regardless. And just the support and everything from him kind of helped instill a confidence in me, and kind of knew I had something going for me. So that was huge. But just my family and everyone around me, and the support group I have, is just unreal. And I couldn't be more thankful for everyone.
Yeah. During like when you first started playing, was there a reason that you decided to be a defenseman, or like what was the reason that you were a defenseman and then well, obviously chose to be a forward eventually?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, PK Subban was everything to me. I mean, I was always a Montreal fan because of him, and still am to this day. He was everything to me, and I used to sit there in front of the TV and every night just watching him and how good he was in his prime, and it just kind of inspired me to, hopefully one day do the same thing.
Yeah. How would you best describe your game overall? Are you a power forward, a two-way kind of guy? Like how would you best describe it?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely a power forward. I think I play a skilled game at the same time, but I definitely have that physicality and the net front presence and all the stuff that category brings under the power forward.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you if you considered yourself more of a physical, gritty type of player.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I have a good mixture. I mean, I think it always, I mean, for me, sometimes even depends on the game, and I don't know if that's the best thing because I think consistently being a physical presence is a better thing, and consistently having both. But I think for me, I'm so balanced in the middle where I think that I can be physical, but shift after shift, I think I show off my skill and IQ when I have the puck.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, yeah, who your favorite players are and stuff when you were growing up or even currently, and obviously PK Subban. But do you think you model your game after him a bit, or is there anybody else that you think you model your game after?
Yeah, no, I think definitely, there's a few guys. I think Josh Anderson watching the Montreal play. I mean, he's that power forward style guy who, he's going to get in, has a good shot, can do stuff with the puck. And then I think a bit of a mix of Alex Tuck as well when it comes to the skill and the plays he makes and there's the all-around IQ he has in his game and the plays he makes. So
Yeah. How did you start first playing hockey? Like, what was the reason you first picked up a stick? Do you remember picking up your first stick? Like, what drew you to the game?
yeah, I mean, my whole family was always super into hockey growing up. So, but my mom and aunt were both figure skaters, and my uncles were both hockey players, grandparents too. So, everyone was super into hockey, and then that kind of just got me into it right away. Just whether it was shooting the ball on the mini stick net or first getting on the ice for the first time when I was probably around like 3, and then playing my first games around 5. Kind of just fell in love with it from there, and yeah, loved it ever since. So.
Yeah. When did you realize that like this was more of a serious thing? Like it could become a career for you?
Yeah, I think just kind of when I made that transition to forward, I mean, it was kind of right away. I mean, the compliments from everyone, and I mean, obviously we had a lot of time off to COVID too, which was a blessing in disguise for me. So I think right when that hit, it kind of turned my career around, and I worked super hard, and I think it kind of proved itself when everyone got to playing games again, and just kind of seeing myself back after playing defense and kind of the comparison to how much more dominant I was as a forward, kind of gave me a new perspective on me and myself and as a player.
Yeah. I know you mentioned your mom and some other family, but who's supported you and been in your corner for basically your whole career?
Yeah, like you said, my mom and some other people, but yeah, I think just everyone who's been with me from the start. I mean, like I can remember coaches from when I first started playing, Wayne Yearwood, who will, still check in with me till this day. And then, I have teammates and obviously stuff who I've been close friends with forever and will always check in on me still. And like I said, my Uncle Jack and my papa and all my people in my family who pretty much I'd say my whole family watches almost every game and makes a point to watch, as many games as they can. So I have one of the best support systems you could ask for, and I'm just super thankful for that.
Yeah. So heading into the off season, I know during the season it's not really that big of a focus and stuff, but how do you feel about going into the draft, your first year of eligibility? Do you think you've done enough to kind of cement yourself in getting drafted, and what's kind of your confidence level going in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a pretty confident person in myself. I think, there's a difference between confidence and being cocky, but I think, yeah, I'd be super happy to get drafted, and I think I do deserve to get drafted, and I really hope I do, and it's been a goal of mine since I was, a little kid. So, getting drafted for me would mean everything, would mean the world, and I don't think it's fully even set in that that's happening yet. Still, like I'm still kind of in the mindset of not trying to overthink it because you don't want to get to draft day and you have these high hopes for what you want to happen and then it doesn't happen. So just staying level headed about it, and if it happens, I think the emotions will start to set in a bit after that. So
Yeah. Development and progression wise over the last 2 years, what do you think you've done the most effectively to kind of get to this point and be like a top draft prospect and just be in that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it always kind of came a bit more natural, the shooting and the stick handling and the hockey IQ. So the skating for me and just improving my body has been huge for me the past 3 years. And that was the biggest thing everyone said to me, and still is the biggest thing for me. And I'm still working on it till this day. But I think that me being able to take that constructive criticism and turn it into something better and just work even harder from getting feedback like that. And power skating for me has been huge. Last summer, I was, 3 to 4 times a week just power skating and just trying to become a better skater. So, yeah, I mean, I think I do really well with that stuff and something that's built my game up for sure.
Yeah. And would you say that like skating and some other areas um are big areas that you need to focus on to maybe be a pro at some point in the future? Like other than those, like what are some of the main things that you think you need to work on to make it to that next level, just not in the NHL, but even just like the AHL?
Yeah, I think I mean like my defensive zone positioning. I mean, that's something I've always been trying to work on better. And one of the things that I picked up on not as well transitioning to forward because it was kind of harder to start to navigate the D zone and stay super focused when sometimes the play is just down low away from you. So that's something for me that I've really tried to work on. And then I think just the consistency throughout games and like I've said to you, like just having a consistent game that I know I can stick to and that I know night in, night out, what I'm going to do every single night to, you know, make every shift count and to make sure that there's not a game that, someone didn't come and watch and say, they understand my game and were impressed.
Yeah. What is one word do you think the best describes your game?
Um, I'd say dynamic. I think that, I can do a lot of different things with the puck on my stick and make a lot of different plays happen as well as, make some big hits and make some big plays. And I think that that's when I kind of rise the most. And that's always been, something for me, even growing up, minor midget, anytime there's a tournament or a top prospects game or whatever it is, that's always when I kind of play my best. So, yeah, that's when I think I'm, at my best for sure.
Yeah. So you're kind of a guy that um what's the word I'm looking for? Like um I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, kind of
Like
embraces the spotlight kind
yeah.
of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
What do you think you bring to the table that separates you from other players? Like how would you sell yourself to an NHL team?
Yeah, I mean, if I was to sell myself to an NHL team, I think that one, I'm willing to do anything it takes to make the team, and that's been my goal for me, and that's my dream, and that's all I'm focused on, and I think I'm really willing to do whatever it takes, and I know I am, and I think one that, and I'm also I think a very good player when it comes to winning championships. Whether it's I need to be a third, fourth line guy who's hitting and blocking shots, I'm willing to do that. Or if you need me to score a few goals as well, I think I can do that. So I think I contribute a lot of things that other people don't, and just the versatility that I bring to the lineup and being able to play anywhere throughout the lineup, I think is something that's hard to find and very useful.
Yeah, that's always important, being able to play like up and down the lineup and just playing where you're needed for sure. Yeah, just going back to kind of like how like obviously your crazy story into being traded and stuff, but like what kind of a person would you consider yourself in the locker room? Are you kind of like that funny guy? Are you a leader? What has your role been in somewhat of a still new locker room for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely, think of myself as a leader, and I always have. And, that's one of those things that I try to do and take with me as much as I can, whether it's cheering a guy up on the bench or if the boys seem a little down, kind of helping just kind of, try to set the tone a little bit with a few hits or even say something on the bench to get the guys going, whatever it is. I feel like that comes very naturally to me and that I'm pretty good at that. But at the same time, I like to, be cool with the guys and crack a few jokes for sure. And I'm a pretty outgoing guy for sure. So, yeah, I'd say those two.
Yeah, like what was it like for you just getting into that locker room first thing and just kind of settling in just on the buses and just in the locker room as a whole?
Yeah, no, I mean, getting on the bus and finally, getting to settle down and the trade had just been posted that morning, so my phone was obviously blowing up and I didn't really have time to check it. I was, driving the whole way up there and then finally got on the bus, kind of just sat down, got to relax, check my phone on the way to Erie and this seeing all the text, everyone was so surprised. I mean, there was no really warning coming up to it or no really rumors about it or anything. So pretty unexpected for the most part for everyone. But in terms of getting in with the guys in the room was just super natural. And I think that's just the culture, like I said, in North Bay. It's super welcoming. And, so many like-minded people who all want to, do the same thing. And it's just a great group of guys we had there. And, I knew a few of the guys before I got there, so that also helped. But just a great group of guys that made it super easy to get in with everyone.
Going off of just bus rides and stuff, like what does a normal day in the life look like for you? What's your routine? What's your pregame meal? Like what does a normal day look like for you?
Yeah, yeah. So we'll go to morning skate, and then I'll be at the rink for before 9:15, and then we'll be skating at 10. Do the morning skate, whatever. I started towards the end of the year getting in the cold tub after morning skates, which I found helped me. And then from there, I'll go and eat my kind of second breakfast, a bigger breakfast, and then I kind of have a light something before, and then I'm a big napper, so I'll nap for like 3 hours. Wake up, and then pregame is just chicken, rice, broccoli. It's always been that super simple. And then but like to get to the rink a bit earlier. I mean, probably like 2.5 hours depending the day. I mean, some days earlier, some days later, depending how I'm feeling. And then kind of just stretch, roll out at the rink, kind of chill out, do my thing, and then I go for a walk before games, just before to kind of clear my mind. And then we do our warm ups, and then I'll write in my journal before games. So it's kind of like, just some things I want to focus on during the game, like physical today, being consistent. How am I going to do that shift in, shift out? And I find just putting it on paper and seeing it kind of helps me visualize it and kind of remember it better during games. So I do that, and then I'll kind of just go out into the stands before the game, 10 minutes, just kind of peek at the book, peek at the ice, kind of visualize thing, and then I'll go 2 minutes before I'll go and get dressed. I'll just kind of head out to the bench, and then I'll just grab my stick and kind of visualize on the ice, what I want to do, spots I want to be, like plays I want to make, and just whatever comes to my head, I kind of just do with my stick, just little motions, just to get the movement of it, and just to get my mind going, and then obviously game time we start, and yeah.
Would you say like all of those things are a must for you? Like, are you a very superstitious person? Like, do you have any superstitions before games, like with your sticks, or like, does that everything need to go right for you, or is it not a big deal if you miss something?
Yeah, I was a little more superstitious before. I've kind of started to not say grow out of it, but kind of not as much anymore, but I used to be definitely very superstitious.
Off the ice and away from the rink, what are you kind of focused on in the gym, and like what's kind of your routine away from the ice when you say you have an off day or something?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of focusing on, helping my body out. I mean, after practices, even I'll be up there in the gym, just rolling, stretching out for 20, 30 minutes. And then, I'll sometimes hit a lighter workout where it's just upper body and just some, curls or chest. Cause you don't want to hurt the legs after being on the ice all week, and, do that. And then I'll ice bath pretty much after every practice. So, those are kind of the things I do when it's not game days to kind of just keep my body ready and rested.
What is the best aspect or like asset of your game in your opinion? Like one thing that you're honed in on for sure.
Yeah, I think just my deception with the puck. I think that I've kind of started to realize that I'm very, I make a lot of head fakes and a lot of hesitations that a lot of people can't make without, having their head up or having the poise to make a pass right after, a shot out of it right after. And I think I'm very poised with the puck, and that kind of ties into that. And just I don't really rush to make plays. I'll make plays on my terms, and when I want to, and just kind of if I'm forced to, then I'll make the play. But yeah, I just kind of like to play the game at my pace.
Yeah, that's always good. I know you mentioned Montreal and stuff, and of course they have like one of the best arenas for fans and noise and everything. But like, what are a few arenas that big dream arenas that you wish to play in one day?
Yeah, I mean, Madison Square Garden would be pretty sweet. I mean, just that New York atmosphere, and they kind of the history around the city, and obviously playing at Scotiabank would be pretty just crazy and surreal to have been to a few Leafs games, and it just would be crazy to be on the ice compared to being in the stands like I usually am, and I think those are the two that stick out to me.
Yeah. I know you got a busy schedule coming up with stuff just in the draft and like the draft combine and stuff. Do you plan to attend that? And like, how do you go about approaching that?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to be there, and back in the gym now, and started training again. So been just trying to get in the best shape possible before the draft and before I have to head to camp and stuff. So just going to keep working at that and try to get in the best shape possible.
Yeah. At the combine, they have like obviously strength and conditioning and stuff, and like certain areas. Do you think you're better in one area than most? Like somewhere you could be top of the class in, or like best at?
Yeah, I think my grip strength's pretty up there, especially for our age. That's always been something. If we go to the combine, I'm always pretty much number one. So I think that for me would be the standout strength for me.
I think that's all I got for you. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you. That was great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. It was great talking to you.
Yeah,
best
right
of
on.
luck. Hope you get drafted. It was great talking to you.
Thank you very much. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Cheers.
Bye.